So in this video, I'm going to solve the following problem. So in high tourist areas such as New York City, some of the local residents will receive discounts to shows or restaurants. But if tourism is so high, it raises the question of why would companies even consider a discount for the locals? And to describe why companies would do this, we'll use the class concepts of profit maximization in monopolies and price discrimination. So from class, we know that price discrimination can only occur if a business has market power, and consequently, a business only has market power if they are a monopoly. For monopolistic businesses, their demand curve represents the market demand curve. Thus, to sell larger quantities, they must reduce their price. Similar to a competitive business, a monopolist can maximize profit by producing the quantity where marginal revenue equals marginal cost, where marginal cost represents the supply curve in a monopoly. However, in a difference to competitive markets, monopolies will price their goods at the quantity where marginal revenue equals marginal cost and where this quantity intersects their demand curve. Although this generates the maximum profit in the monopoly, there still occurs some deadweight loss from the people who value the market's good above the marginal cost but below the price that the monopoly is charging. So to further maximize profits, i.e. reduce this deadweight loss, the monopolistic business will charge each group of customers their willingness to pay, where in our example, the two groups for New York City are the tourists and the locals, where the tourists will tend to have a higher willingness to pay because they're visiting New York City. They don't get the opportunity to watch all these Broadway shows or go to these fancy restaurants 24/7. Whereas the locals, they can kind of go whenever. They can watch out for the deal. They have a lower willingness to pay, so restaurants and shows recognize that, so they'll offer the locals a discount. Thus, when they charge the locals less, the deadweight loss is reduced and profits are increased. Further, to ensure that a business can divide the groups into their willingness to pay, they must be able to prevent arbitrage. In our example, businesses could do this for restaurants by checking the ID of the customer that's visiting. Normally it will say New York City if they're from there, so restaurants can give the locals a discount in that case. Another version, if they're going to a show, you can normally input your address into the ticket center and then they can give you a discount that way, and they can put a little section on the ticket saying that it's for a local purchase so that the locals can't resell the tickets for profit themselves. Yeah, so that's my take on why locals tend to get a discount in New York City over the tourists.